Right fellas, welcome back to a brand new video with my white two-wheel drive Sapphire Cosworth. Quick backstory on the car fellas. I picked this car up from Scotland and I wiped out my bank account to buy this car. It hasn't been MOT'd since 2014, and whilst it's not the best example of a two-wheel drive Cosworth, I've been doing my best to get it somewhere near. On the last video I had a go at painting the rear bumper by myself with some rattle cans, and to be honest it turned out a lot better than I thought. But I did get quite a few comments on the last video about the exhaust tip being slightly out of centre in the bumper. So that's the next job. So like I said, a lot of you pointed out on the last video that the fitment of the exhaust wasn't quite right in the bumper. Now honestly, I didn't really notice it. It's not something I personally picked up on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix it for everyone that commented on it. So to line the exhaust up, I'm going to get a ratchet and a 13mm socket, jump under the car and undo the band that clamps the exhaust. Then I should be able to kind of manhandle it and rough it about and get the exhaust tip to move in the back bumper and line up a lot better. Now hopefully you'll agree that's sitting a lot better on the bumper, and hopefully, like a couple of years mentioned, it won't burn the paint. Like when the exhaust gets hot up, now that it's not as close, it shouldn't burn any of the bumper or the paint. Anyway, that's that done. Let's move on to the front of the car and I'll show you the next job. Right, now on the last video I fitted some brand new reg plates to the back from DMB Graphics and got rid of the GB plates, and it made a massive difference to the back of the car. Well, here is the front one we need to put on. I'm sure you'll agree it'll look a lot better with that plate on the front. Now unfortunately at some point, as with most old cars, I don't know, for some reason people don't seem to mind drilling holes in the bumper to fit a reg plate. So there is a couple of holes in the bumper of other people fitting reg plates, but this new one from DMB Graphics should cover the holes. So let's have a go at putting some holes in and not cocking it up. So what I like to do is put masking tape on things if I'm going to be measuring. Then if you get the measurements wrong, you can peel the masking tape off, put some fresh stuff on, then you've got a blank canvas to start measuring again. Right, so as you can see, those screws are no good. Those are the ones that came with the little reg plate clips. Now, through the magic of the internet, next day delivery, I've got, these are just wood screws, but a bigger thread. I think these are about 1/2 mm bigger on the diameter, and they're about, well, they are pretty much the same length as the old ones. So hopefully these will go in the bumper and tighten up and not pull out. And hopefully the reg plate little flappy thing will close with these screws. So let's have a go. Oh yes! Oh no, the screw doesn't shut. Look, the screw head. The screw's too big. I've got an idea. I've got an idea. Right, what we'll do is we'll put the screw head in the drill, then we'll file it down with the file. So there we go, I've took the diameter down and I've also took the head down a bit, so hopefully that should work now. Let's give it a go. See if that'll work. Oh, it's still not closing. So I think the thickness of the head from like the underside to the top is too fat, so we need to take a little bit off the top here. Now I know this is getting a bit over the top, but it's just what we're going to have to do to get these wedge plates to fit. Oh. Right, let's try that. Oh yes, it fits. We'll get a nice new clean one of these, because I've got my oily fingers all over it now. It's a bit dirty, so we'll get a nice new clean white one. We'll put this dirty one in my spares for later. We'll take that out of there. Right, let's take the new white bit over and our modified screw and see if that works. Yes. And through the magic of editing, we have a second screw here ready to go in the wedge plate clip device thing, whatever they're called, wedge plate, whatever. Right, anyway, that goes into there. Oh yes, that's lovely, that. And just because I'm a bit of a loser, I'm going to spray a bit G85, some silicone oil stuff on the screw just to stop it rusting, because it is bare metal at the minute. There we go, fill our oil, close the flap. There we go, that'll stop that rusting. Then we'll wipe the excess oil off. If you are interested in some wedge plates, I will leave a link to DMB Graphics below where you can get your own wedge plates. Like I mentioned on the last video as well, this here, Trimco Luton, is where this car was bought from when it was new. DMB Graphics can actually put the original garage where your car was bought from on your plates. Right, so for the next job, what we're going to have to do is get the car jacked up, get some axle stands under it, take the wheel off, then I can show you where I've found some rust. Right, so this is a problem. This is like a dust guard for the rear brakes, and if you come round, you can see this one is certainly past its best if we go underneath. So if you look here under the car, oh, it's snapping. Look, it's just falling to bits. This is the original dust guard for the car, and it's just absolutely knackered. So that one cannot be fixed, but thanks to the lads at Sierra's R Us, you can now buy remanufactured ones, and these are super nice quality. I will leave a link to the lads at Sierra's R Us if you want some of them. You can see they've got a nice glossy finish, and certainly a lot better than the ones that are on the car. Now, I've never actually changed a set of these before on a car, but I mean, how hard can it be? So let's take this big hub nut off and get cracking. So to get the hub nut off, we need a 41mm socket. Fortunately, I've already got this because of when I've done the work on my 3-door Cosworth. Now I do have a new replacement nut, so this one will just go in the bin. Now next, hopefully we'll remove this caliper with a 17mm socket. So due to the size of this hole, you can't get your 13mm socket in. So what I've had to do is back it off a certain amount so I can still get this socket out. And I'm going to go in with a smaller socket that'll fit in the hole. Oh, come on. So there's the old one off. You can see absolutely rotten, full of holes, just knackered. And here is the new one from Sierra's R Us. Quite a difference. Like I say, you can't buy these anymore for the Cosworth. So thankfully there's people like Sierra's R Us out there making stuff like this. So this is going to go in the bin. So in the future, fellas, I would love to get all these blasted and powder coated, and I probably will do in the future. But for now, my main priority is to get this car on the road. And it's going to be, I imagine it's going to be kind of like a rolling restoration. So we'll get this back on, then maybe next winter, I don't know, I might strip the underside, I don't know. But for now, we're going to build it back up. So hopefully now it should be almost ready for an MOT. Now I am going to pop a little bit grease on this, on the end of the drive shaft, just because it's going a bit rusty and it just makes us feel better. So we're going to put some grease on. Thanks to the wonderful world of eBay, we've also got 2 new nuts to go on here. So at the minute, that nut, that's the only thing that's not tight. Well, it is tight, but it's not torqued up. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to do the other side. Then when I've done that side, we'll drop the car back down, get the torque wrench out and tighten these up. These go really tight. So I need the car on the floor with the handbrake on. So I'll do the other side, then I'll catch up with you. So once the other side was done and I've fitted the dust cover, I then got my torque wrench out, put it to the proper torque setting, got the 41mm nut and torqued the rear hub nut up. I also took the opportunity while the wheel was off to remove all the copper grease that was all over the discs. I'm not sure who done this, it definitely wasn't me, and I don't want it on, so while it's off I'm going to clean it up. Right, so that is both dust guards on the back. The other side wasn't too bad, it's certainly not as rusty as the one we took off. It has got a slight hole just here. It's going in the bin, so it doesn't really matter. The original wheel nuts off the car, they're a bit past the best, so I've bought some brand new ones off eBay. So we'll put some new wheel nuts on. Right fellas, the next job is an ongoing problem I've had with the car, and that is the boot lock. I have got a boot lock, but it doesn't work. So what we'll do is I'll go over to the bench and I'll show you what the problem is. So this is the boot lock latch. This goes in the boot. This is the button. Now I think the problem is this button. You see, when you press that, there's a little, so the little bit comes out the back there. There, can you see it? This isn't coming out far enough. See, it's just coming to there. It's not even flush with the back of this. Right, so these are the keys for the car, and this works, the lock. I think. There, alright, it is working. I don't know if you can see it moves that little arm. You see? Anyway, what I need to do is I need to figure out if some way when I press this button, that bit comes out long enough and it hits this bit, which will release this clip like that, and that would open your boot. So we'll put this back on the car and we'll measure the distance what we need to add to the back of this. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to have to certainly figure out a way. Now while I can close the boot, so it should be still okay to take it for an MOT, to open it I just put my finger in and push the little lever thing that's in there. But I think I can cobble something up to get that existing lock working. Just like that. So what we'll do is we'll put this screwdriver in and we'll see how much we need to add to the lock. So if we put that in the hole, and we'll measure that length there. Right, so we need it exactly 4 centimeters long. 4 centimeters, remember that. This measures from there to there. So we only really need to add a tiny little bit, because this measures from where the boot will go 38 millimeters, so we need to add about, really we just need it to come out just a smidge more. I've got an idea. So the first job is to put a small pilot hole in the back of the boot lock. So once I'd managed to get a hole in, even though it was a mile off centre, unfortunately, I then tapped it with an M5 thread. Once it was drilled, tapped, and the bolt was in, I washed it all out with some GT85 to remove any cuttings from inside the lock. We've got a screw in the end, can you see? So we'll quickly fit this to the boot and see if it works. Right, let's have a go. Of course, I've locked the boot, like I've knocked this little latch up, so we'll see. Listen for a click. Right, so if I knock this latch up, like that, when I press this button, this should flick. It was then just a case of screwing everything into place. Right fellas, so that should be it, ready to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly test it before I shut the boot and I can't open it. Check it's all tight. Right, so for the first time ever, when I shut this boot, I should be able to open it using my boot lock. I'm over the moon with that. Honestly, it's the small victories that matter. Now, the next job, well, hopefully the last job before we do an MOT on the car is to get the backlights working. For some reason, when I changed these, for some reason they stopped working. These were a bit oxidised, and I mean they're old. They've been in the back of a boot of a Sierra for 35 years, so they were a bit old and crusty. So I did clean them up a bit, albeit now they're covered in red paint flecks since I restored my rotor cover, but I have fixed them up. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some brand new bulbs in, put some electricity to the car and see if the backlights work since I've cleaned these up. Right, now I'm going to put some power in the car and I'm going to sit inside and we're going to try all the backlights. Failed at the first one. That's not lighting up. So what I'm going to try, I know it's one of these middle two pins that might be causing the issue. So what I'm going to try is I'm going to try rubbing a flathead screwdriver in and out and kind of cleaning the connection up. Then I'm going to give it a spray with some GT85. See if that works. These contacts are obviously, I mean, the 35-year-old that's sat in a boot of a Sierra for 35 years. It's not the best of places for anything, is it? Let alone an electrical connection. We've cleaned the connection up. Let's put the hazards on, see if I've fixed this indicator. Yes! Fixed it. Now let's put the ignition on. We'll try the brake lights, the headlights, obviously like the tail lights, the reverse lights and the fog lights. And I think that's about it on the back. Right, so we've got our assistant in the car. We're going to run through the back lights. So put the headlights on, please, Amy. And the wipers, is that? Knock the wipers off, please. Right, headlights on. Brake lights. Brake lights off. Rear fog lights on your right hand side. Right, fog lights off. Indicate left. Indicate right. Reverse lights. I think that's it. Spot on, thank you. We also have a fog light out. You can see this one's on, but that one isn't on. So let's see if that's just a case of a new bulb. Now when I've took the connection out, it looks like inside of this connector is full of paint. So maybe that's why this bulb... No, it's knackered. It's knackered anyway, the bulb. You can see the bit moving around inside. So we need a new fog light bulb. Right, so in here we have two brand new fog light bulbs for the Sapphire. So let's get them fitted. Now there's no point in just changing one fog light bulb, so once I'd done the bulb that was out, I then jumped over and changed the bulb in the other fog light, so when the fog lights are on, both lights will look the same. Now that is all the lights working. The only thing at the minute I would think the car would fail an MOT on is no interior wing mirror. But fortunately, thanks to Fraser, a lad who watches the channel, he sent me an interior mirror. So we're going to stick this up there. I am not 100% sure what you're meant to stick an interior mirror on with. But what I'm going to use is some reg plate tape. I've flattened the end of this off. I'm going to clean it up. We'll stick some reg plate tape on, we'll clean the windscreen up and we'll clag it on the windscreen, and hopefully it'll stay on at least long enough to get us through an MOT. To be honest, I'm sure it'll stay on forever, but at least to get an MOT. So before I stick the reg plate tape on the interior mirror, I'm going to give it a quick clean with some panel wipe / degreaser. So before I stuck the interior mirror to the windscreen of the car with the reg plate sticky tape, I did clean the windscreen with some panel wipe, just so the interior mirror has got maximum chances of sticking to the window and not falling off in the future. It's the first time in my ownership this car has had an interior mirror. Right fellas, that's it. Cheers for watching, and hopefully on the next video with the Sapphire we can get it MOT'd. Now, if you're interested in seeing anything like behind the scenes type stuff, I'll leave a link to my Instagram in the description, or you can find it there, look. But yet again, thanks for watching fellas, and I'll catch us on the next one. Cheers.